Hi, welcome to Module 1. Let's get started. Let's learn about some conflict and let's learn about some ways that we can deal with conflict. That's going to be our focus for Lesson 1. We're going to be talking about the nature of conflict, what it is, why it is, how we view it differently. Both individual to individual may view conflict differently, how we deal with conflict in the 5 most common styles in which we deal with conflict, and how different entities would view conflict differently. So that's going to be really our focus is on this week. Now, as you open up Module 1.1, you're going to see you have 2 lessons, Lessons 1.1 and Lessons 1.2. At the bottom of that, you're going to see assessments. Assessments are going to tell you what assignments are going to be due this week that you're going to be completing. So this week, you're going to be completing a discussion board, and you're going to be completing an assessment tool regarding your own personal conflict style, and you're going to be writing an opinion paper on your personal conflict style and telling us how that works for you, how it doesn't work for you, and how it will help you to better understand your conflict style. Now remember, we're not saying any particular conflict style is right or wrong or good or bad. The reality is we all have a chosen style that kind of fits our personality, and we may change our style depending on the situation. So there may be a time I choose to be in competition, and other times I may choose to be accommodating. Really depends on the situation. But we all have a go-to style, something we kind of prefer to do, and we're going to be exploring those 5 styles in this week's lesson. You're also going to have a discussion board. That discussion board you're going to find on the left-hand side of your screen where it's going to say discussion. That's going to give us an opportunity to talk interactively amongst ourselves regarding each week's topics. So these are a time for us to explore, for us to share our experiences, for us to share our thoughts, and for us to go a little bit deeper into each subject. So I want you to be sure to participate in that. Your grade for the discussion board will be based on your statements, your willingness to share and your willingness to expand upon your thoughts, and your peer responses. So you're going to want to answer the question each and every week by Wednesday of each week, making sure that it's detailed, answers all of the question in totality, and that it offers new information, new insights, and new value to the course. By Sunday of each week, you're going to be sure to have responded to at least 2 peers. And by responses to peers, it can't be great job or terrific, which are okay to share. But you need to be adding more value and more content. So, great job, Johnny, I really like this, or I've had a similar experience to that. So that we're having a conversation. A conversation isn't a conversation if you just say, great. And then we're done. That's not it. That's not a conversation. So we're going to use that discussion board to really kind of share our thoughts and our feelings on each week's topic of conflict resolution and how we can be better conflict managers. I really want you to take this class to not only learn lessons and learn skills, but also learn how it applies to you in your life and how you can use those lessons to be a better conflict manager so that you come out feeling a little bit more confident both in understanding conflict, understanding the nature of conflict, and understanding some ways in which you can navigate conflict so that we can take those destructive conflict situations and turn them into more constructive ones. So, there's a lot of lessons that are really valuable in this course. Everybody has conflict. You'll have it. Even if you're an avoider, you're going to have conflict. And it's important that we understand that conflict's not bad. We shouldn't be afraid of conflict. We really shouldn't. Conflict is an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for change. It's an opportunity to look deeper at a situation. It's an opportunity to find new things that we didn't even know about. But only if we view conflict with a positive attitude. And so when we don't have conflict, we don't change. We're not motivated to change. There's nothing going wrong. Why fix it, right? Except for then we're stuck and we stay exactly where we are. And we're missing those opportunities for growth and for expansion. So as long as we can come into conflict with a positive attitude and with the skill set to navigate that conflict, we can learn more, we can grow more, and we can be better and stronger through it. So that's what we're going to be reviewing in this course. So you're going to have Lesson 1.1. Within there, you're going to have some assigned readings. You're also going to have some assigned videos from Hodges Library and some other resources I've tagged into there. You're also going to have some additional readings. I really want you to view those additional readings, or videos, Those will help you to see how they're short, they're entertaining, and they will help you to see how we're applying those lessons of each week. So each week they'll be included, and I do want you to view them as it helps you to take the lesson a little bit deeper and take it a little bit more like, how does that work? What does that look like in real life? So I want you to make sure that you're watching those videos as well. So this week, again, we're going to be talking about the nature of conflict. What is conflict? How does it happen? Why does it happen? It's pretty easy. It's two people not agreeing, or two groups of people not agreeing, or two systems not agreeing. But there is something that happens where we're at odds with each other. And we're going to look at the preferred styles in conflict management. There's 5 primary styles. And again, each of us has a go-to style, something that we use more often than others, and we're going to be looking at that, as well as the other styles, because we will all reach into those other styles when necessary. The first one is an avoidance style. It's pretty straightforward. I don't like conflict, so I'm going to avoid it. I'm going to try to not come into conflict situations. I'm going to dance around them. I'm going to do whatever I can to not be involved in them. And so that may sound like it's a negative, or it might sound like it's a positive because I don't have to deal with it. And in truth, it's both. Avoidance is not a bad thing, particularly if the event isn't that big of a deal. If it really doesn't matter if you have chicken or steak, just don't deal with it. If there's something small, if it's something that's just an irritant, if it's not that big of a deal and it doesn't have a lasting effect, why exert more energy to deal with it? Okay, so avoidance is fine in small situations. Avoidance is also a good thing when maybe the problem is there, but in and of itself, at this moment, it's not that big of a deal. It's just I should put it aside and deal with it later. This is not a really good time. My kid's making a mess in their room, but their friends are over. So right now is not a good time to deal with them making a messy room. I'll deal with that later when their friends are gone. So I'm going to avoid that for now. I might have to shut the door. But I'm not going to deal with it at this moment, because right now is not the best time to deal with it. And when I would deal with it later and come up with a plan as to how I'm going to solve that problem. So avoidance isn't necessarily a bad thing. It isn't necessarily a good thing, because if we avoid problems all along and we continue to avoid problems, those problems will grow. They will continue to fester. They will lead to hurt feelings. They will lead to destructive thoughts, and they will lean to a lack of investment in caring or working through the issues. So we don't want to avoid it all the time. A second style that we use sometimes is called accommodation. Accommodation is when the relationship is really important to us and we want to do what it takes to sustain that relationship. The problem may not be that important to us. So in avoidance, the problem's usually not that big of a deal. And in accommodation, the problem's usually not that big of a deal. So I can give it up and I really don't care that much. So I had a preference. It wasn't that important. It's less important than this relationship, or it's really important to you, and I want you to have what you want because that's important to me. So I'm going to give it up. We're going to agree to disagree. I don't really have to stake my point here. Okay, I'm fine with that. So accommodation allows us to give in and still save face. It doesn't mean we're not keeping our face. It says I have a different opinion, but it's not that important to me. So we're going to move that to the side, and that can happen as well. So that's an accommodation. Accommodation can be very helpful and can help build relationships, and it can help smooth over situations that really don't have to escalate. Accommodations, though, can be bad if we're using them too much. Because what happens is if we always give in, then we become a pushover. We may not be respected in the workplace or in the home. People may take advantage of us, and if we're getting taken advantage of all the time, then that leads to more and more hurt feelings. So we'd like to believe because I accommodate, people are going to accommodate back. That's really not how it works. They still have their preferred style. And if your preferred style is accommodating, they're going to take advantage of that style because they can. So unless you have two accommodators working together, then you're going to potentially have conflict that will build up hurt feelings, resentment, and people feeling devalued. So it's okay. It's a great tool. It just wouldn't want to be the tool that we use all of the time. A third style is competition. Competition is much more aggressive and much more assertive. In competition, there's going to be a win-lose scenario. You're competing because it's very important for you to win, but you need to be prepared to lose. Somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose in a competition, and it can be it can escalate. It's something we have to be careful of. Doesn't mean it's always a bad thing. Sometimes things are really, really important. Sometimes the subject matter is more important than the relationship. So we have to understand that when we choose a competitive style, that we could be hurting that relationship that's around us, and we have to be willing to accept the consequences of that. It's still good to fight fair. It's still good to do all of those things, but in a competition, it is going to be win or lose. If it's something that's really, really important to us, then that may be the style that we're going to need to choose. Again, it's just best to fight fair if we can. Another style is the compromise style. So a compromise style, I'm sure you guys have all heard about before, is where I'm going to give a little and you're going to give a little. So in this situation, the relationship is more important than the problem to some degree, and I know coming into this situation that I need to give up something for us to sustain that relationship. So, and we'll talk in future lessons about that, like what we're willing to give up, but we're coming into the situation knowing that it is really important that we sustain that relationship. And so what are we willing to give? What are we willing to put forward in order to make that work? So we're going to be working together with the partner or partners or whatever that situation is to find a situation or to find a new resolution that we can both agree on. We don't really want to give up what we're going to give up, but we're going to do that to move forward and move ahead. That's a great style, particularly when we don't have a lot of that we can. We want to be heard, we want to be understood, and there's certain things that we really have to hold on to, that we can't give up certain pieces, but we're willing to give up the others. The fifth style is really the best one, the coup de grace, what we really would like to achieve, which is collaborative work style. In a collaborative conflict management situations, all the parties are coming with the commitment and the intention of solving the issue. In collaboration, unlike some of the others where maybe in compromise it's going to be like you give 25%, I give 25%, and then we feel like that's fair, it may not be fair. It may not be equal anyway. It may still be fair. So in a collaborative style, the problem is really important to be solved, and we know that problem is so important to be solved, we're willing to do whatever it takes working in partnership with the other people to solve that problem. So that may mean I have to give a little bit more here or a little bit less here. That could be based on our talents, our skills, what we have to offer. Whatever happens, we're willing to give that up to solve that problem because we are solely committed to working together to finding new solutions. If this is done in a positive way, if this really builds up skills, it can build up relationships, it can lead to new growth and new discoveries and new solutions and better solutions because we're doing it together. It's not always easy and it can't always be done, but it is a good positive thing. So you might think, well, when would I not want to use that? Certainly it's great in family relationships and workplace relationships where the relationship is really important to sustain it. The problem with a collaborative style is it takes time. It takes time to build those relationships. It takes time to get to know the parties, their strengths, their weaknesses, to learn to work together as a team. And sometimes we don't have time. If the house is on fire, don't collaborate. Get out. Okay, so hopefully you're not dealing with too many house fires. But there's a time and a place for different styles. There's a time and a place where different styles are most appropriate and where they're most helpful. So through your lessons, through your videos, through your readings, you're going to find out a little bit more about those. If you have questions or concerns as you go along, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm here to help you. I'm here to clarify. I'm here to be part of your journey to success. Enjoy your readings, enjoy the lessons, and I'll see you for Module 2.